Am I the only one who didn't know about the supposed Arsenal trophy curse? Seriously, it feels like every time they get close to glory, some kind of unbelievable drama unfolds. It's a story whispered in pubs, shouted on podcasts, and memed into oblivion across the internet. But is it real? Is there some dark force at play, or is it just a convenient narrative for a decade of frustration? Today, we're going deep. We're going to unpack the myth, dissect the moments, and separate the spooky from the statistical. Let's get into it. To understand the curse, you have to go back to the blessing that preceded it, the Invincibles. The 2003-2004 season, an entire Premier League campaign without a single defeat. It was a monumental, once-in-a-generation achievement that set an impossibly high bar. After reaching footballing nirvana, where do you go from there? The expectation wasn't just to win, it was to win beautifully, to dominate. But as the legends of that era moved on, the club entered a transitional period. The move to a new, expensive stadium put a financial strain on the club, limiting their power in the transfer market. Suddenly, they weren't just fighting opponents on the pitch, they were fighting economic realities off it. And that's when the narrative began to shift. Every near miss, every stumble at the final hurdle, wasn't just a loss, it was evidence. It was a sign that the golden era was truly over, replaced by something cursed. The curse wasn't built on one single event, but a painful collection of them. A timeline of what-ifs. Think of the 2006 Champions League final. Down to 10 men early on, they took the lead, defended heroically, only to have it all slip away in the final 15 minutes. Heartbreak. Then there was the 2011 League Cup final. A seemingly straightforward match against Birmingham City, a chance to end the trophy drought. It's tied 1-1 in the 89th minute, and then a calamitous mix-up in defense gifts the trophy away. Agony. And who could forget the title challenges that just fizzled out? Seasons where they'd lead the pack at Christmas, playing breathtaking football, only to collapse in February or March. A key injury here, a shocking loss to a bottom-table team there. Each instance, viewed in isolation, is just a bad day at the office. But when you stack them up, year after year, the pattern becomes hard for fans to ignore. It starts to feel less like bad luck, and more like a script, a cruel joke where Arsenal are always the punchline. But let's take a step back from the emotion and look at the cold, hard reality of the sport. Football is a game of incredible variance. It's a low-scoring game where a single moment of brilliance, a lucky bounce, or a refereeing error can completely dictate the outcome of a 90-minute contest. The margins between winning and losing are razor-thin. A shot that goes an inch to the left is a goal of the season. An inch to the right, and it's a goal kick. We can analyze tactics and formations all day, but sometimes the ball just doesn't roll your way. Modern analytics even tries to quantify this with metrics like expected goals or XG. A team can create enough high-quality chances to deserve to win 3-0. But if the opposing keeper has the game of his life, they can still walk away with a 1-0 loss. Over a 38-game season, luck tends to even out. But in a knockout competition, a single cup final, variance is king. What feels like a curse is often just the brutal, random nature of the sport playing out on the biggest stage. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest contributors to the curse narrative, injuries. It's not just that Arsenal had injuries, and they happened. It became an almost predictable pattern. The team would be flying, top of the league, looking unstoppable. Then a crucial midfielder would suffer a long-term injury. A week later, their star striker would be sidelined. Suddenly, the entire dynamic of the team would shift. These weren't just isolated incidents, they were injury clusters that often occurred during the most pivotal part of the season. The lack of squad depth, a consequence of the financial constraints from the stadium move, was brutally exposed. While rivals could call upon an equally talented replacement, Arsenal often had to rely on inexperienced youngsters or shift players out of position, disrupting the team's rhythm and chemistry. It's easy to blame a curse when your title challenge derails the moment your most important players end up on the treatment table, season after season. It wasn't a supernatural force. It was a tangible problem of squad fragility and a lack of depth at critical moments. Beyond injuries, the club's evolution in the dugout played a massive role. For over 2 decades, Arsenal was defined by one man, Arsène Wenger. His philosophy of fluid, attacking football was ingrained in the club's DNA. But as the game evolved, with new tactical systems like high pressing and intricate counter-pressing emerging, the club faced a period of strategic uncertainty. After Wenger's departure, the challenge was immense. How do you replace a legend and modernize a club's entire footballing identity? The subsequent managerial changes brought new ideas, new formations, and new types of players. This kind of transition is never seamless. It takes time for a new coach to implement their philosophy and for the players to adapt. This period of tactical flux led to inconsistency on the pitch. One week they might look like world beaters, the next, a disjointed mess. These weren't the actions of a cursed club. They were the predictable growing pains of a team in the midst of a profound identity shift, trying to find its footing in a new tactical era. And then came VAR. The introduction of the video assistant referee was supposed to eliminate clear and obvious errors to make the game fairer. But for many fans, it has only amplified the feeling that the universe is conspiring against them. Now, every marginal offside call, every subjective handball decision, is scrutinized frame by frame. A goal that would have stood a decade ago is now chalked off because a player's kneecap was a millimeter ahead of the last defender. These moments, which can swing the momentum of a game or even a title race, feel incredibly cruel. When a series of these high-stakes decisions go against your team, it's easy to fall back on the curse narrative. It's more comforting to believe in a supernatural conspiracy than to accept that your team was on the wrong side of a 50-50 call that was analyzed to the nth degree in a remote video room. VAR has shrunk the already tiny margins in football, turning moments of potential glory into sources of immense frustration. Of course, the curse narrative wouldn't be what it is without the modern-day accelerant, social media. In the age of instant reaction, every setback is amplified 1,000 times over. A loss is no longer just a loss. It's a trending topic, a viral meme, a deluge of "I told you so" from rival fans. This constant cycle of online discourse creates a feedback loop. The more people talk about the curse, the more real it feels. Fans start to go into big games not with hope, but with a sense of dread, waiting for the inevitable moment when it all goes wrong. This negativity can create a heavy atmosphere that undoubtedly seeps through to the players. The weight of past failures, constantly relived and rehashed online, becomes a psychological burden. The curse becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where the fear of failure contributes to it actually happening. But here's where the story turns. The narrative is finally changing, not through magic, but through meticulous, intelligent rebuilding. The club has shifted its strategy, focusing on recruiting a core of young, hungry, and technically gifted players. This isn't about finding a quick fix, it's about building a sustainable foundation for the future. Under a clear tactical identity, this young squad is developing a resilience that was missing in previous years. They're learning how to win ugly, how to grind out results, and how to handle the pressure of a title race. The management is making smart, data-driven decisions in the transfer market, addressing the squad depth issues that plagued them for so long. There's a clear plan, a process that everyone from the boardroom to the fans can believe in. This isn't the fragile, brittle team of the curse years. This is a new Arsenal, forged in the fire of past disappointments but looking firmly toward a brighter future. So, what's the real takeaway here? The Arsenal trophy curse was never really a curse. It was a compelling story, a narrative woven from a tapestry of very real-world problems: financial constraints, untimely injuries, transitional periods, razor-thin margins, and the psychological weight of expectation. Correlation is not causation, and a string of bad luck is not destiny. The past doesn't have to define the future. The club is now on an upward trajectory, built on a solid foundation of young talent and a clear tactical vision. They are just moments away, a single season away, from turning all those cursed near misses into glorious curse-breaking trophies. So it's time to let go of the spooky narrative. Stop blaming fate and start appreciating the process. Support the rebuild, celebrate the small victories, and enjoy the journey. The highs are coming, and they'll be all the sweeter for the wait. And hey, if you want to bring a lucky scarf to the next game, well, I won't tell anyone. A little superstition never hurt, right?